Hello and welcome back to another study video. I've just finished work and I'm just in the library that's also a part of the hospital that I work at. So I'm going to continue on with my studying for the GPHC exam. I decided to start by going over MEP topics. So that's things on pharmacy law, including what the legal categorization are for certain drugs and also what you need to know as the responsible pharmacist. So I'm just watching some lecture videos on the course that I bought about these topics, and I'm making notes on the side just to summarize the information and write it down in a way that makes sense to me. I went through a couple videos and I also covered veterinary medicines as well and the legal requirements for prescriptions. I hear a lot that note taking is one of the worst revision methods, but I just can't seem to get away from it. I find it pretty helpful when I'm covering information that I've maybe seen before but not gone over in depth. So I like doing rough notes on my iPad because it's really quick, and when I'm watching a video, I can't take in all the information. So writing it down makes it easier to understand. I did start off the year making very nice, neat notes. As it gets closer to the exam, it's probably not the best use of my time. So yeah, note taking I think does have a place in studying and revision. But ideally you should do your note taking like well before the exam and then just do practice questions or active recall closer to the exam. But I wasn't organized enough, so here I am making notes closer to the exam. But it still helped. And I'm glad I did it and I would do it again. Next, I decided to do some practice questions. So I found these practice questions online. It's just a mock paper, so I did a couple of those questions. And for the ones I got wrong, I wrote down the rationale that was behind it. So these practice questions were pretty useful. And if I really didn't understand it, I would just Google it and try and find out more and make sure I understood it in case a similar question came up again. And that was me done for the day. I didn't stay for too long, but I got a decent amount of work done. I decided to stay after work again for an hour or two to do a little bit of studying. I just set myself up at one of the computers and I got up a past paper. I'd already done this past paper and I was going over the answers and writing down the rationale for each of the questions. I do it for the questions I get wrong, that I have things to learn. The ones where I make silly mistakes, I don't bother writing about those because it's normally just me not reading the question properly or not reading all of the options. So I just write down the questions that I got wrong because I didn't know or I didn't understand and make sure that I understand it enough to get it right if it does come up again. And also some of the questions I got right, which I just guessed, I write those down as well so I can be more confident answering that question again in the future. My final little study session this week was on Saturday because I was working. It's just a short shift from 10 to 1 in the hospital. So I decided to go to the library afterwards for a couple hours and then I went out later on to relax. I continued on making notes and watching the revision videos. Here I'm going over prescription requirements and making sure that I understand everything because that will definitely come up in the exam because as a pharmacist it's pretty essential that you know whether a prescription is legal or not. There are quite a few things that you know will most likely come up in the exam. You definitely need to cover the MEP, the legal categorization for POMs and Ps, everything about prescription requirements, specifically CDs, they will definitely come up. So if you're studying for your GPHC exam or you're a pharmacy student, make sure you pay attention to all those things. I really enjoy using my iPad to study. I do a lot of writing and scribbling things down, so it's much better than using loads of different sheets of paper. And it's easy to search things up using the search function, so I can find notes that I wrote a while ago, but also some things I don't really need to revise again. I just kind of scribble it down and then hopefully I remember it. So yeah, I can just delete those later on or leave them, and it doesn't take up loads of space in my bag. I pretty much only use my iPad and maybe the MEP book for studying, which is pretty handy when I'm going out to libraries or cafes to study, so I don't have to carry too many things in my bag. And I don't carry the BNF because we don't use it in the exam anyway, so I just use the online version if I need to look anything up. It's also just really fun to write on my iPad and a lot smoother, and I think I write quicker on it because it's a glass screen, so it's a lot smoother, and it's just more fun. So try and make studying fun because you're gonna have to do a lot of it. And that's it for this video. Thank you for being here because I've not posted in so long. This video is like 2 months overdue, so I appreciate you watching, and I will have another video coming soon. See you later.